Kathy Roth-Douquet, founder and CEO of Blue Star Families, is joining us now. Blue Star Families is one of the nation's largest nonprofits supporting military families. Kathy, thank you for being here with us. These men and women who serve our country are still facing a tremendous amount of uncertainty. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing that people are very worried. They're not only worried about their finances, but the stress overall is affecting our military because the situation is really crazy.
And so what are they telling you?
What we're hearing is that people are already compromised. It's hard to explain how vulnerable a military family is to the larger civilian leadership. We go wherever you tell us to go. We follow any order into harm's way if necessary. We move far from family and friends. Spouses are often not able to work because of the frequent moves, because of living remotely. So you're living on one salary, even though you're a middle class or working class person. Adding to this vulnerability is now this fear that you may not get paid. And on top of it, there's a stop move order, which means if families are in the middle of moving, and every year 600,000 military connected families move, if you're in the middle of a move, then you may be very vulnerable as well. This is extremely disruptive to people who are just trying to do the nation's bidding.
And I think we all know, no one's getting really rich serving in the military. They're doing this for the right reasons, to support our country, to protect our country, to defend our country. And the president has promised that service members would get, in his words, every last penny. But they're still, it hasn't happened just yet. How anxious are people about that coming to be?
People are very anxious, and while I'm grateful to the president for saying people are not going to miss pay on the 15th. We actually don't have any official notification of that. It has to go through the Defense Finance and Accounting Service. There's no official notification, and that covers 1 week. But we are worried about much more than 1 week of food. It also doesn't cover our Coast Guard, who are nose to nose with the Chinese off of Guam. They're nose to nose with drug traffickers. That's a real mission too. It doesn't address the stop move orders. Really what we need is Congress to come back in session. We need them to pass the Pay Our Troops Act, which is what will really give us confidence. And even more so, we need a budget so that the Department of Defense can do the job that it needs to do, knowing that it's resourced to do it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard families, because it is the only military branch that operates under the Department of Homeland Security. And to your point, it's unclear if they would receive pay from these diverted funds that the president is talking about. They were not paid during a partial government shutdown that happened in 2019. And so what would need to happen to guarantee that they get what they deserve?
We need the Pay Our Troops Act to pass in Congress. It would be terrific if somehow money came on the 15th for the $1.3 million that the president mentioned who are under DOD. That's only a week, and that does not alleviate stress. And the stress and the concern is just as much of a factor as the actual harm. What we saw in Blue Star Families Pulse Poll is that the threat of this disruption makes people feel like not recommending military service to others. 60% are saying this situation makes them less likely to recommend service. And we are the recruiters. The people who serve are the ones who motivate others to serve. And the reason that's happening is because we give up our rights to make decisions by ourselves. We give full faith and allegiance to the civilian leaders who defend us. And when they can't, at the very minimum, make sure that we make our pay so that we're not defaulting on loans, having our credit ratings hit, unable to put food on the table at the end of the week, then how can we encourage others to have that kind of trust?
Yeah, and what you're getting at, too, are potential longer-term implications.
There are national security, exactly. I would say that it's a national security harm to not take care of the people who are giving full faith and allegiance to you.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, in addition to that, you noted that it could be harder to entice people to join the military, or potentially people get out earlier than maybe they wanted to.
That's right. Well, 30% are saying this situation is making them think that they might get out earlier than they want to. So 72% are worried about their finances. 60% are feeling the stress, and it's having an impact. It's not good for our national security. It's not good for our military and their families.
All right. Kathy Roth-Douquet, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.